Hello and welcome to a new episode of Adobe Creative Cloud TV. My name is Terry White, and in this episode, I'm happy to give you a first look at the brand new update to Adobe Comp CC. This is the 2.0 version, which just got released today for both iPhone and iPad. And that's one of the new things right off the bat, is that prior to this update, Comp was only available on the iPad. Well, we realize that many of you are walking around with your iPhones and you have an idea, you have some inspiration, and you'd love to get your ideas down as a comp right away. And now you can do that right in your pocket or right from your pocket with your iPhone. So, although I've shown comp before on the iPad and all the features I'm going to show you today are on the iPad, I'm going to show it to you on the iPhone since the iPhone's the new thing. All right, so let's go ahead and let's first fire up Comp. I've got it in my Adobe folder here. And you can see the Comp icon, which is on the right and in the middle. And let's go ahead and launch it. And just like on the iPad, it shows me my most recent projects, the projects I've been working on. And those projects, by the way, are now synced between your iPad and your iPhone. So no matter where you start a project, you'll be able to continue it on the other device if you want. So if I started on the phone and then I, want to have some more screen real estate, I can pick up right where I left off on the iPad without doing anything else. It just automatically backs up the projects and syncs them. And that's the other important part is that it's backing up the projects. So if I delete Comp or have to reinstall it or install it on a new device, all my projects sync right back down into it. So that's another great feature. So with that said, let's go ahead and start a new project. I've got some fall inspiration. It's October 1st, or it's October 1st for me. I'm recording this, but it's October 5th probably for you. Let's go ahead and launch this. And first of all, I just tap the plus sign and it's asking me to choose a format. So of course I can choose from any of the presets. And if you don't like any of the preset sizes, you can go right down to new format and make a new size. But I do like one of the sizes. I'm going to go ahead and choose letter. Now that will give me the letter size, which I can pinch and zoom up a little bit, making it a little easier to see. And the one thing you'll notice that's brand new in this update is that little button on the left-hand side that lets you toggle between drawing your objects or your placeholders and then switching out of it to actually work on those placeholders. That's gone. The two modes have now been integrated. So you no longer have to remember to switch. Am I drawing placeholders? No. I'm working on content? No. I'm drawing placeholders. You never have to think about that again. You just work the way you want. So let me pinch and zoom this down just a hair for a second. And what I want to do is put a big placeholder right on the page itself. Now, if you're ever worrying about how to do the placeholders, I'll show you how you can get a refresher course on that in just a minute. So first thing I want to do is just draw a big X across the entire page. And of course, that puts the placeholder there. But notice it switched into the handles for me to adjust it. Whereas before I would have to wait till I got out of the drawing mode to adjust it. So that's great right off the bat. Now I'm just going to tap on the canvas to deselect it. That way I'm not having to worry about it still being selected while I'm working. And the next thing I want to do is I want to draw two text placeholders. So again, we just draw a line, put a dot on it. We draw another line. Oops, hang on. See, I thought I was trying to adjust that. Let me undo that real quick. Deselect it. There we go. Draw another line, and we'll put another placeholder there for another text object. Then down below, I want a placeholder for an image inside of a circle. So let's go ahead and draw the circle and then put the X in it, and that way it knows that we want a placeholder for a circle as well. So again, I can pick that placeholder up, move it around, get it centered, get it just the way I want. Okay, so now I can actually start working on this content. So first thing with the text placeholders, I don't want them to be just the lorem ipsum text, and I also want them to be centered. So let me go ahead and tap the text tool down at the bottom. Let's go ahead and make that top one centered. I'm not going to worry about the font just yet until I get the text in there. Same thing, let's deselect that one, select the second one, and we'll make that one centered as well. And then that way, I can pick them up, move them, and I get my smart guides letting me know when they're centered on the page. All right, so now we'll pull this one down for now. I'm going to move it up later, but let's go ahead and let's tap into, and we can go ahead, by the way, let's pinch and zoom this up a little bit. There we go. We can tap into this one, and if we tap again, we can, or double tap actually, we can get into our text. So I'm going to go ahead and put my caps lock down, and we're just going to type the word October. So we'll do an autocomplete there, and then I'll tap out of it, tap it one more time, and now you notice I get that little slider on the right-hand side that allows me to adjust the size of it. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about the, here, let's expand that out to be a little bit bigger than the frame itself. I'm not going to worry about that too much just yet. I know the R shouldn't be down there on the line by itself, but don't worry, we're going to fix that. First thing I want to do is change the font. Now, this is one of the greatest things about Comp, is that it's not 5 fonts, 10 fonts, some pre-selected number of fonts and pre-selected styles of fonts that Adobe picked for you. It's actually accessing your Typekit library. So I can go ahead and tap the text tool down below, and where it says font, I can not only choose the fonts that I've been working on and I've been using on the desktop, which is great. These are all the fonts I've been using on the desktop. But if I go ahead and tap add, I can bring up the full Typekit desktop or font library and be able to sync any font I choose. So even if I want some inspiration from a different font that I haven't used yet, I can go ahead and find that font and use it here. So this is all included in Creative Cloud. So as a full Creative Cloud member or Creative Cloud Complete member, you have access to thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fonts. But anyway, I have a font here that I think I want to use. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So many choices, so little time. And I want a nice heavy font there. We'll use this one. I haven't used Azo Sans in a while. We'll go ahead and sync that one down. And I can go down and choose it as the font that I want to use. And there's that nice thick October that I'm looking for. Okay, great. So now I can get out of that. And of course, the text is still, our text frame now is too short. So I can go ahead and just stretch that out. And again, we can go ahead and recenter it so it's nice in the center. But I also can control the letter spacing. That's why I wasn't going to worry about it too much. So if I go into spacing, I can go ahead and just control the letter spacing, kind of tighten that up just a little bit so that it doesn't stick out so far. And we have that nice thick October feel to it. Now, of course, the great thing about, or the thing about typography, it's all about contrast. So I would want the next thing that I'm going to do in as close to the opposite of that as possible. So let's go ahead and double tap on this next line. We're going to do it in upper and lower case. So we're going to do fall. And we'll type the numbers, 2015. And that's good enough. We've got that there. And of course, we can move that up. We can make it a little bit bigger. And then, of course, we'd want to change the font for that. So we can go into our typefaces again. Right now, it's defaulting to Sans Serif Pro. Actually, I know there's a font up here that I want to use that has a nice light or extra light to it. It's called Ephra. There it is. So Ephra has some nice different styles for light, regular, medium. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Ephra light and pull that one down. Okay, so great. I've got that font, and I might even want to use the heavy for the October, but we'll see. All right, so now I've got that in place, and the next thing I kind of want to do is I want to put in actually, let's get out of this. I want to put in some rules. So let's go ahead, and now you might wonder, how do you draw a line in Comp? And it used to be you just drew a line, but now you notice that line disappears. And it's like, wait a minute, how do I draw a line now? Sometimes the gestures get upgraded as well. So the new gesture for a line is to draw the line and then just come right back. So if I draw the line like that, come right back, that will actually draw the rule or the line I'm looking for. I still have the handles to size it and put it, and I even have that little move handle there to move it in place. So now I've got it where I want it to be, and of course I don't want to have to do that again. I just want to duplicate it. So we'll just go to the little menu down at the bottom. We can duplicate it. That will give me another copy of it that I can now put on the other side. There we go. Perfect. And of course, I could stretch that out to fit better if I needed it. Now, like I said, sometimes the gestures themselves get upgraded. So how would I know what that new gesture was? Well, if you go to the little gear icon, down at the very bottom, there's a drawing guide gesture or drawing guide help. So this shows you all the different drawing things that you can do with your finger to get the shape you're looking for. So for example, if I wanted a rounded rectangle, I'd draw the rectangle and then draw a little circle in one corner, and that would give me a rounded rectangle. I found the line down here that had been upgraded. Now it's just the line. You just draw a line and come right back, and that knows you want a line. You can scribble to erase. You can, this is brand new, lasso select. So if you wanted to select something, you can draw a little lasso around it to select that object. And of course, many of the other ones are still here as they were before. And of course, I did this circular image with just drawing the circle, putting the X in it. So if you ever get lost or can't remember what drawing gestures do what, that help guide is always built into the app for you. Okay, great. So I've got my line in place. And of course, I could change the color of those lines and change the color of the type, which I will. Let's go ahead and now just zoom out a little bit here. Just pinch and zoom down. And now let's start filling in some of the content. So I have this placeholder here, and now what I'd love to do is fill it with an image. Now the image choices you had before are still there. That's great. I can import from my device, from a Creative Cloud library, take a photo with the iPhone or iPad camera, get images from my files, whether, my Creative Cloud files folder or Lightroom, and even from the marketplace. However, what's brand new is the Adobe Stock integration. This gives me the ability to play with royalty-free stock, even as a preview, even as a comp. I can play with it and decide if I want to purchase it or license it later. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Adobe Stock, and that brings up the Adobe Stock page right inside of Comp CC. I'm going to just search on the word fall. And once I search on the word fall, I can go ahead and see all the images there. I really like that one on the third one from the left there on the bottom. Third one on the left column there. That leaf hanging down into the water is pretty cool, and I would probably grab that right away. However, I've learned that sometimes if you just scroll, you might find something you like even better. So let's not grab the first thing we see. Let's see if we see something else we might like better. Ooh, I like the tree with the sun coming through it. That one looks pretty cool. And let's keep going here. Ooh, I like that lake, but it really doesn't say fall enough to me. And there we go. I've got the best of both worlds. I got the fall colors in the trees and the little lake or pond in front of it. Let's go ahead and grab that one. And what I'd love to do now is save a preview of that. And it's even giving me some additional choices that are similar to that. So, or more from that series from that photographer. So I could pick either one of these, but I really like this fall color one. So I'm going to save a preview of this to my library, to my Terry's library. Now that not only saves the preview, places it in the comp for me. It's got the Adobe Stock watermark on it because it's still a preview. I haven't licensed it yet, but that's okay. I'm just comping my ideas here. So now that I've got that in place, two more things we need to do. Of course, we need to change the color of our type. But before we do that, notice I have this circle placeholder. Well, I kind of knew I was going to use fall colors. And as a photographer, I've even got my own fall image that I like. But I kind of wanted something different for the background, which we got from stock. Now I'm going to go ahead and tap on this one and this placeholder, and we're going to fill this one from my files, from my Lightroom library. So that, again, this lets you choose from all your different places. I'm going to choose from my Lightroom library. And if I go down to my landscapes, there we go, portfolio. In my landscapes portfolio, I took some nice fall images in Michigan. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one, import it in. That one goes right in, and it's got that nice little curvy road. That's what I love about it, into the scene that we're in now. Okay, so great. I've got that the way I want. Next thing we want to do is we want to work with some colors here for October. Now I can tap on the black color. I can go ahead and mix whatever color I want here in the color wheel. I can use the themes that are built in, but more importantly, I have libraries as well. So I can either grab colors from my Adobe Stock library. I can grab colors from, for example, I have an Apple Watch, and I have the Adobe Color app on the Apple Watch. So there are watch themes that I can use. And these watch themes are captured on the watch just by the location I'm in. It shows me the 10 most popular themes in that location. So I've got watch themes from all over the world. And even though this one won't be that exciting, I can go ahead and grab some colors from here. So these are different color themes from all over the world. And for this one, I'm actually just going to keep it light. So I'm just going to grab that first light color there. And now that we've got the color, we'll go ahead and lock it down. And that gives me that color. Now for the fall 2015, let's go ahead and deselect. Let's zoom in on that a little bit there. So same thing for that fall text. Oops, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Fall text. We'll pick our color. Now I could grab the same color, or I can go down and get perhaps a slightly different color around the fall theme. I want kind of like a light, but not white color. Let's see if I can find something here. Maybe like this beige. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that kind of fits in where it's kind of subdued a little bit, but not quite totally lost in the fall background. So again, we can move that. I want to move that up just a hair. And same thing for our rules. We can go ahead and make that the same color that we just did, if I can remember which one it was. Let's see here. I don't know if I scroll. Yeah, there it is. We can grab that one. And same thing for this rule. We'll grab that same color. Oops, not that far down. Start from the top again. Or maybe it took me right to where I was again. I ignored it. So let's go back. And there it is. That one more time. All right, so we've got our rule colors. And now I'm just going to go ahead and move that up a little bit. There we go. Get it in place. And then we'll tap this one, move this one up a little bit, and get that smart guide to line up perfectly. And now we've got, we've got our fall design comped up and ready to go. So now you might be asking, well, what can you do with it now that you've created this on your iPhone or your iPad? Well, I can, of course, simply share it as an image. I can just share it as an image, and it'll be a flat image. I can text or email to anyone that I want to look at it. I can even post it on social media. But more importantly, I can, and a flat image doesn't do me much good other than, hey, take a look. But really what I want is, I've done this out on the go. And what I want when I get back to my desk is this file fully editable and ready to go in my program of choice. So I can either send this to InDesign CC, I can send it to Photoshop CC as a layered Photoshop file, I can send it to Illustrator as a layered Illustrator file, or InDesign. So let's go ahead and send it to InDesign. This is where I would normally comp up a design like this. And I see the little wheels spinning in the upper right hand corner there. So it's making an InDesign compatible file, syncing it to Creative Cloud with all the assets, all the fonts, everything necessary to work on this when I get back to my desk. And then on my desk, as long as my computer is open, or next time I open it, it will sync the file down from Creative Cloud and then open it in InDesign for me. So we'll give it a few seconds to do that. Now you might be thinking, well, it doesn't happen instantly. It doesn't happen, necessarily right away. Well, that's because most people wouldn't be comping on their phone sitting right next to their computer. So if you're sitting next to your computer, you can just do it on the computer. But this is for people that are out on the go in a meeting with the client, and they can comp while they're on the go and then have that file ready to go when they get back to their desk already open. So let's give it a second to do that. And here it comes in InDesign, ready to go. And I can even see that I need to make a slight adjustment. I think I moved the image one of those times I was pinching and zooming. But here we are, ready to use this file in InDesign CC. So there it is, complete with the text, fully editable, ready to work on. The fall 2015 is there as another text frame. The rules are there. Again, if I don't like the color, I can change them to make them stand out a little bit more. There's my ellipse with my image placed in it. And more importantly, I can click. There we go. I can see that that's a licensed file, or I'm sorry, that's a preview file from Creative Cloud. So let's go into my CC libraries. I saved that to Terry's library, I believe. And if we scroll down, we'll find it. And there it is, Fall Creek. And now I can go ahead and simply license that image. So if I like that image enough, I print it out, send it to my client, or I like it for my file, I can license that. And what that is now doing is syncing down the high-res image from Adobe Stock and replacing it everywhere I've used it, not just in this InDesign file. So once it's synced down, we'll see it update. We'll see the Adobe Stock disappear, because that will no longer be just a preview file. It will be the license file that I can use royalty free in all my designs from here on out. So you should definitely check out Adobe Stock if you don't already have a plan for that, or even if you don't have a plan, you can still purchase the images one by one as needed. All right, so I can see now that, yep, that's been updated and this image is now out of date. And there we go. I just double clicked the frame to update it, and now the Adobe Stock watermark is gone, because this is now my image, licensed, ready to use anywhere I want. So that's how Adobe Comp works. Adobe Comp CC, Adobe Comp CC 2.0 for iOS, now on iPhone, iPad, feature parity across the board. So everything I just did could be done on the iPad as well. So with that, take care, and we'll catch you on the next one.